Using Tracy's subtle story of being caught by the school nurse for ditching class as an example, her conscious objective was to skip school. Her obstacle was the school nurse, and to overcome that obstacle, she had to lie to pursue her new objective, to not get in trouble, to avoid getting detention, and to be left alone to do as she pleased. She wanted that nurse off her back. To unconscious objective. There is always a back story that explains why the hero or our story wants what he or she wants. In my case, I had spent 1 year writing a book that 56 agents rejected. As a result, a 32 years old an audition meant everything to me. Also pressuring me was my emotional baggage. I grew up with an older sister who was severely disabled. Being an able-bodied child, the hopes and dreams of my mother were yoked tightly around my shoulders. It was my responsibility to become someone famous or rich so that my mother's life would not have been in vain. My unconscious desire was not to fail and to make my mother proud. When telling a story, the unconscious desire is unapparent to the hero, but usually comes out during the telling of the story. Using Tracy's story again as an example, from the outside, she looked like a kid who wanted to be left alone and to fly under the radar, but really, Tracy desperately wanted to be heard and helped by an adult. By skipping school, she was unconsciously asking someone to pay attention to her and to ask her what was wrong. Fortunately, the school nurse was listening with her heart as well as her ears. The stronger your desire, the more drama and comedy will be available to you when telling your heart story. I was coaching a student, Sherry Strong, whose speech was about the life lessons she learned while healing from a massive car accident. She was severely injured, broke every bone in her body, had to be fed through the tube, and lost her ability to speak. When working with her on her heart story, she was convinced that her primary desire was to regain her health. So she started her heart story with the car accident. But something didn't feel right for me. The conclusion of the story was a no-brainer. Clearly, she had recovered, or else she wouldn't be standing in front of an audience speaking. We had to find her deeper objective. Going on instinct, I asked her to do a scene for me when she was 8 years old. The scene went like this. She said, I'm singing a song I wrote. I want to be a singer. I want to write music. Now what is going on? I asked. I'm showing my mother what I wrote. I asked her to act out her mother, a process I will describe in greater detail in the final chapter of part 2, and then watched her transform into a mommy dearest type, angrily ripping up her daughter's song, saying, "This is crap. Stop messing around and do your chorus. Do your chorus." Okay. I asked her, "Did you ever perform as a singer?" "No," she said sadly. "No. I got married, had 3 kids, and my husband was so controlling. He would have never let me have a singing career. We divorced. Then I married another man who turned out to be an alcoholic. Oh my God. I was supporting him as well as my 3 children, and that's when the accident happened. We divorced during my therapy. I then spent all my time getting myself well. A part of my therapy was singing. Oh ho ho. All right.
There's 2 now. It doesn't matter if the Rock holds the man. What? The Rock is sticking it up from the Bulldog and Triple H's backside. There's 4. The Bulldog's the new WWF champion right now. Wait.
I might appear that the car accident derailed her life, but it actually put her back on track to living her passion. She would been shut down by her mom, and the car accident forced her to sing again. It was singing that brought back her voice. Literally, I gave her the will to recover. This is called usefulness, bro. This is called capability. Okay.
There's 4. The Bulldog's the new WWF champion right now.
No, that will be very different kind of thing. Again, I'm trying to copy something, so yeah, don't copy. But it's copy with taste actually. Even though go for the money. Plus go for the value, main thing, value first. After 45 years of silence, she even started writing music. Now, how powerful do you think it is for an audience after hearing that hard story to witness her sing? There isn't a dry eye in the house, and it makes her message of do it now, 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 do it now. Yes, I'm feeling great. Even more personal and effective, if you followed the exercise above, you will have a solid story. Don't worry about if it's funny, as later in the comedy past chapter we will go over it and work in humor. Exercise. Desire on fire. Read over your story and spend only 10 minutes answering these questions. 1. What is the main character's conscious desire, and how does it relate to the message of your speech? 2. What is the main character's unconscious desire based on their history? 3. When did this character first realize what they wanted? Step 2. Set up the obstacles, lots of them. As the character pursues his or her objective, there will be obstacles. If you don't have obstacles, you don't have a story. Step 2. As a character person. In the Wizard of Oz, in Dorothy didn't have to deal with flying monkeys, poisonous poppy fields, haunted forests, violent apple trees, and the wicked witch of the West. Getting back home would be a boring and uneventful trip to Kansas, a place not known for excitement. So, in your story, your character is running into obstacles, trying to get to their objective. When obstacles prevent your hero from getting their objective, he or she makes an adjustment, perhaps a new attitude, a new point of view, and zigzags their way to end of the story where they either get or don't get their objective. Depending on the nature of these obstacles, the character readjusts how they go about getting to their goal. Obstacles can be other people, circumstances, forces of nature, or inner obstacles. The obstacles in my story were other people, the long line of travelers standing in front of me, and the gate attendant who held our futures in his hand. There were forces of nature, bad weather in the east that has cancelled a number of flights, and then there were my circumstances. I was a rejected writer getting older who had to be in Denver by a certain time, or else I would miss my only and maybe last chance at success. At first glance, that seemed like a good enough heart story, but I kept digging. There were other obstacles I forgot to mention, and comedy is in the details. Smaller obstacles, including the nobody odor of the man in front of me in line, the muffled, incomprehensible airline announcements over the PA system, the overpriced bottles of water, the embarrassing hole in my sock that everyone saw when I had to take off my shoes and at security, and especially the no joking warning signs by the airport security entrance. Complete torture for a comic. Added on top of the external obstacles were my internal obstacles. Trying to get through an airport with my literal baggage and my emotional baggage. Low self-esteem, needing to be liked by the people around me, anger of feeling out of control in the larger universe, fear of missing my last shot at stardom. There were a million emotions coursing through my veins. I was tempted to include them all in my heart story, but I knew I had to pick and choose those that best dramatized my struggle. Let me help you do the same exercise. Oh, those obstacles. It's fun. Let's really dig into your heart story and milk it for all it's worth. 1. Make a list of all the obvious obstacles that prevent your character from getting what she or he wanted to. Go through your story again with a microscope and find the smaller obstacles that you might have missed originally. Go into the details of okay. Into the details of what people said and how they looked that made your journey difficult. When writing the story again write it thinking of all five senses of all five senses. Was there a horrible smell, flickering lights, an agitating song playing? How did the character of your story react to the obstacles? Did the obstacle make them change their course of action? 3. Rewrite your original story and add at least 5 new physical external obstacles that could have been overlooked. How does that change your main character's behavior? 4. Now add 3 more international obstacles. Wow, internal obstacles to your heart story. How does that change change the meaning of your main character's actions? Step 3, finale. Your story ends in one of 2 ways. 1. Your character obtains their objective. 2. Your character does not obtain their objective, but all is well, because they learned a lesson they needed to learn. Okay, they learned a lesson they needed to learn. They needed to learn. At the end of my heart story, I don't get to the gig in time for the audition, but in first class I meet a book agent who ends up representing my book and stand-up comedy. The book goes on the Oprah Winfrey Show, becomes a bestseller, and launches my unexpected career as an author and a speaker. Missing my plane becomes a life lesson for me and for my audience. We learn that it's not worth stressing out over the small bumps of life, because sometimes the universe gives us something even better than what we were chasing. Having a sense of humor can even help get us what we want. Great. FIV 5. GS FIV 5. WEFIV 5. Exercise. Write your own ending. Take 10 minutes and write the ending to your heart story. Does your character get everything their heart desires? And then answer the question. How did obtaining their heart's desire teach them something valuable? Now do the exact opposite. Take 10 minutes and write the alternative ending to your heart story. What happens if your main character does not obtain their objective? What lesson is learned from that result? Call up your speaker buddy and tell them both endings. Discuss each ending and determine with best serves and needs of your speech. Getting your story perfect. Wow, I saw a perfect case. So I saw the perfect case.
Rock is sticking it up front. The Bulldog and Triple H's backside.
Nobody in any music is even coming up.
Great. Thank you very much. Near too far. Yes, it will be getting more better always daily forever. No, bro. Okay, global CCS show by and women empowerment show by Passion VR. Okay, 4 now add 3 more internal obstacles to your heart story. How does that change the meaning of your main character's actions? Step 3 finale. Your story ends in one of 2 ways. Near too far. 1. Your character obtains their objective. 2. Your character does not obtain their objective, but all is well, because they learned a lesson they needed to learn. At the end of my heart story, I don't get to
One of the biggest matches in the career of this young man.
At the end of my heart story, I don't get to the gig in time for the audition. But in first class I meet a book agent who ends up representing my book. Talented guy, man, very talented guy, very talented. book and stand-up comedy. The book goes on the Oprah Winfrey Show, becomes a bestseller, and launches my unexpected career as an author and a speaker. Missing my plane becomes a life lesson for me and for my audience. And for my audience, we learn that it's not worth stressing out over the small pumps of life. Okay. Because sometimes the universe gives us something even better than what we were chasing. Having a sense of humor can even help get us what we want. Exercise. Write your own ending. Take 10 minutes and write the ending to your heart story. Does your character get everything their heart desires? And then answer the question: How did obtaining their heart's desire teach them something valuable? Now, do the exact opposite. Take 10 minutes and appreciate. Take 10 minutes and write the alternative ending to your heart story. What happens if your main character does not obtain their objective? What lesson is learned from the result? Call up your speaker buddy and tell them both endings. Discuss each ending and determine which best serves the needs of your speech. Getting your story perfect. Getting your story perfect. Excuse me. It's best. Getting your story perfect. My my sign will be 5. God bless to all. Have good mindset. Good hobby. Healthy learning. Have a good mindset, good hobby, and good and very healthy will be loving life. Healthy will be loving life to all forever. Okay, unique look and great look. Wow, Getting your story perfect. Beth Lapides. Yeah. God will make everything alright. Everything alright. Thank you. One, have I Beth Lapides. Okay. One, have I cut enough? Just because something happened doesn't mean it is part of the story. Can you start further into the story? Do we need the backstory? Is there a chunk of dialogue when you only need one line? Two, is there anything I can milk? Is there part of the story you are rushing over that is juicy and deserves more attention? In terms of pacing, it shouldn't feel like a metronome is running. 3. Do I need to tell this story so linearly? Linear time is an illusion. You are allowed to loop back for back story as it is needed, or till the end first. Think about Lost of Memento. Think about Lost or Memento. Liberate yourself from linear time. 4. Why I am telling this story now? That might shift over time and subtly affect the focus of the story. Stories get stale but can be refreshed. New dimensions and levels emerge over time. Also, the context in which you are telling a story can subtly affect how you are telling it. Every now and then it is too soon to tell a story. Either the ending is too unclear or you are uncomfortable with it. If you are uncomfortable with it, the audience will worry about you. You can tell an audience anything, no matter how humiliating, as long as you are comfortable. 5. Okay. What's funny about this story? Even if you are not a comedian, there is something funny about your story. Usually it's the most painful part. Okay. Painful part. Five year. Exercise. Frame it. Once you have your objectives, your obstacles, and your ending determined, place your heart story within a frame using the same structure we used to to illustrate the problem portion of your speech. Point story question. You announce the point that will be illustrated by the heart story. You tell the heart story. You remind the audience why you just told the heart story. And ask them if they are willing to apply the lesson to their life. And then you repeat how your action steps helped your main character achieve their success. You have already written your heart story above, so just tackle the intro and the exit to frame it. When you write the introduction, to the story, keep it short. Really keep it short. No more than 1 or 2 sentences. Remember, introduction. You have just provided the audience with your action steps, so you want to have a natural lead. I know these steps work. I learned how to insert your message here the hard way. Back in 1982, I wanted to when writing the exit out of your heart story, remind the audience of your core promise by asking these questions. How would you react? How would you react in that situation? How do you handle people? What would you have done? Then give people a call to action. I learned the power of insert your message here. Your message here, and I know that you can insert action steps in exercise. Take it for a test drive. Get together with your speech buddy and really listen to each other's stories. When listening to someone else's story, note is the character's objective authentic, believable, and a worthy pursuit. Do you understand why the character wants what she or he wants? Are the obstacles all believable? Are you telling the story in the present tense? Is the life lesson clear from the story? Does the story illustrate the core promise of the speech? So it's going. Does the story address the problem you brought up at the beginning? Is there any place where the story drags or is boring? Where the story drags or is boring? Completed speech time. 27 minutes for half an hour. 55 minutes for 1 hour. 27 minutes for 30 minutes. 55 minutes for 1 hour. Chapter 14. Step 6. Now do something. Eileen McDarg is an award-winning speaker who speaks on resiliency as a business and life tool. Eileen defines resiliency as growing through challenge or opportunity to end up better. End up better. Better. Her action steps present 4 categories of resiliency: adaptability, agility, laugh ability, and alignment. When she comes to the last category, alignment, she talks about being lined up with that which is your highest core value. As she says, when that is in place and you are clear on that, it's what Austrian neurologist and psychiatrist Viktor Frankl noted: any man or woman can survive any what if they have a why. Why we want to survive? My mother taught me how to have a wife. Wow. Eileen then tells her heart story about her mother, who was a women's Air Force service pilot in World War II. As Eileen says, although they did all the military domestic flying and 1074 women earned for Air Force wings, they were not considered official military. They flew 60 million air miles. They flew 60 million air miles of official military duty, and 38 of them died in the course of duty. But because they were not considered official military, they were on benefits. There were no benefits, and in at least one case they had to pass the hat to send the body of someone in their unit home to her parents. Okay, and when they were disbanded, women were not allowed back in the cockpits of military planes again for 30 years. Their grand experiment seemed like a failure. It wasn't until 70 years later, March 2010, when they were awarded the Congressional Gold Medal. At the end of Eileen's story, she pinpoints the major life lesson of her story. They didn't do it. Her story. They didn't do it for the gold medal. They would have kept doing it because of their core values of service and love of country. She then comes to the call to action of her final story and asks the audience this question: How many of you have days where you feel that that what you do doesn't matter? I'm here to tell you that what you do does matter. Eileen then gives her final call to action. How many of you have days where you feel that what you do doesn't matter? I'm here to tell you what you do does matter. Eileen then gives her final call to action. Now know what is most meaningful to you and keep that center when you can stay connected to what is most meaningful to you then that's the ultimate resiliency skill. And regardless of whether anyone acknowledges you or not, that's what keeps you focused. Keep your center, and I guarantee you will be able to stay right side up in a world that is upside down. If you are going to change the world, we have got to get people out of their seats and motivate them to actually do the action steps you presented as the solution to their problems. And don't forget that the people signing your checks want your speech to do more than entertain. What is this? They want results to wrap up your speech. You need to remind the audience, so that will be okay. They want results to wrap up your speech. You need to remind the audience of their problem, your solutions, your core promise, and the action steps. You also need to remind them that you know they can do it. They can do it. Because you already have this. This is the call to action. I have mentioned doing after. Okay, I mentioned doing after each action step. Now at the end of your speech, you want to summarize your action steps and give the audience one concrete, specific and rousing assignment to do immediately. This is your important final call to action. This won't work if you just list a bunch of they have to accomplish. This is the call to action. Okay, this is the call to action. I mentioned doing after each action step. Now at the end of your speech, and end of your speech you want to summarize.
I'm getting a lot of respect from Logan and what he's done in the ring here tonight. Changing up this game. Again, got caught that time. Quick shot, Larry got caught by John. John landing Logan for the win. Paul kicks it too. All the front line of that now sitting reacting instinctively.
Action steps. Okay. Of your speech you want to summarize your action steps and give your audience one concrete, specific and rousing assignment to do immediately. This is your own important final call to action. This won't work if you just list a bunch of things they have to accomplish. Nobody just something just because. I am keynoter. Hear me close. As speakers positioning on a program depends on the power of their call to action. To be the closing keynoter, a speaker needs to leave the audience with a call to action that inspires and motivates them to take on their challenges. Ooh. Mike Frick, president of Speakers.com, Speakers Bureau. Solve by using your technique. Just because a stranger in a suit on a stage tells them to do it. Yeah, please don't. Bro, don't worry. Please don't shout this thing. Please. Okay, like this. Tells them to do it, and you have to present this final call to action in such a way that they will want to do it. It's your ultimate motivational moment right after your heart story. Exercise the call to action. First, you need to remind the audience about their problem and how bad it feels to have no solution to that problem. This is a great place to use rhetorical questions. The way I do this in my speech is, who are you in life? Who are you in life? Are you one of those angry people at the airport? This is a reference from my heart story about being angry at the airport. How is that working out for you? Is getting angry getting in the way of what you want to have in your life? Are you losing friends, family members because you are not so much fun to be around? Keep the summary of the problem short and sweet, and then ask the audience if they want to try something different. This is where you bring it home. Boil down your action steps so they are easy to remember and easy to do. Don't end with don't end with so tomorrow. How many? Okay, don't end with so tomorrow. So tomorrow, how many of you are do going to redo your will? Set up a living trust and restructure your retirement. Give people something very simple that they can do, such as sign up, vote, believe, start, insert action, start, stop, insert action. Stop, insert. Yes, it's stop. Insert action. Visit this website or donate. Okay. Your call to action. Your call to action can become your tagline. Posted on your t-shirt. Your call to action can become your tagline, posted on your t-shirts, mugs. Mugs and other merchandise. Billionaire owner of the Tampa Bay Lightning hockey team turned speaker Art Williams call to action. Oh, call to action can become your tagline, posted on your t-shirts, mugs and other merchandise. Billionaire owner of the Tampa Bay Lightning hockey team turned speaker Art Williams call to action to do it big. Do it big. He wears it on a t-shirt during his speech. Since my action step is extremely simple, make a humor choice by saying woohoo. Since my action step is extremely simple, make a humor choice by saying woohoo, woohoo. When things get stressful, I ask audience in my call to action, woohoo. When your mom asks you if you have gained weight, what will you say? Woohoo. When they announce that your plane is cancelled, what are you going to say? Woohoo. When they announce that your plane is cancelled, okay, what are you going to say? Woohoo, woohoo. Wow. I'm going to give you, babe. I'm going to give you, man. When they announce that your plane is cancelled, what are you going to say? Woohoo! Great. When writing your call to action, think about including the results that are possible if audience members will take action will take that action step. It's one thing to say, I want you to make 5 additional sales calls a day. It's another thing to say. It's another thing to say. Okay. Anyone want to increase their income by 20%? How many of you are willing to give up an additional 15 minutes of your work day in exchange for a week in the Italian Riviera? On the Italian Riviera? Well, we can do that by making only 5 additional calls a day. See how I avoided saying I want you to do. No one wants to be given a code. Remember your mom telling you she wants you to take out the trash. How would that work for her? How would that work for her? And please, for the love of God, know when to end your speech. Don't use the phrase in conclusion and then go on forever. And don't finish with a long-winded sales pitch of your merchandise. This is the number one complaint meeting planners get from conference attendees. This is not a good place for a commercial. Once your heart story is finished, burst out of there on a high note and don't blow it. When done properly, you will feel the rhythm of going from the emotional moment and the end of your heart story to your call to action. This means that you start slow and build in speed. Yes, like Mr. Jimmy brother. Okay, speed. Intensity and volume. Although you should never ever shout at an audience. Say thank you and take a bow. Thank you. Completed speech time 30 minutes or 1 hour. 30 minutes or 1 hour. Okay. That's it. Chapter 15. Step 7. The funny is money comedy pass. There are 2. Making speakers funny is my specialty, and here is the good news about adding comedy to your speech. You don't need to be a trained comic to get a laugh. There are 2 kinds of speakers, funny speakers and unemployed speakers. Overheard at National Speakers Association national meetings. I have found surefire specific techniques that will take your speech from a polite chuckler to a gut buster. You can do this. You really can. You really. Being funny as a speaker is a lot easier than being a stand-up comic. Speakers aren't expected to get huge laughs every 10 seconds. So when you deliver them, it's a happy surprise, which means you will work more often. Plus, you need to do this. What do meeting planners really want? What do meeting planners really want? I heard a panel of experts.
Gained my respect tonight. What a performance by Logan Paul against John Cena. Hey, the Brooks are not the old dear life leads in defeat. If you think Logan Paul is not
I heard a panel of experts say what event planners and corporate audiences really wanted is content. But what I kept seeing was quite different. When I came time to book a speaker, the speakers that used a lot of humor and stories, those were the ones that kept getting booked. Okay, heart, heart story, humor, and style. Brian Lord, Speaker Agent VP or of Premier Speakers Bureau. Meet funny people with a message. The Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor AATH.org is a non-profit member-driven international community of humor and laughter professionals and enthusiasts. AATH provides its members the education, cutting-edge resources and supportive community they need to excel in the practice and promotion of healthy humor. Members include scholars, psychologists, counselors, allied healthcare practitioners, nurses, social workers, physicians, funeral directors, business executives, human resource management, human resource managers, educators, clergy, hospital clowns, speakers.
When we integrated HiveMind for the first time, it is now digitally spinning these knobs and managing the flight path of the aircraft. Next step is we make it harder. Let's make the object smaller. That's another thing. We tested with big SUVs today. Let's test smaller objects. Eventually,
No matter how serious your topic, everyone step on stage needs to add humor to their presentation. Wow. No matter how serious your topic. No matter how serious your topic, everyone who steps on stage needs to add humor to their presentation. Actually, the more serious your topic, the more you need some yucks, yucks, yucks. Let me use an example of something very unfunny to prove my point. The genocides in Darfur. Recently, a speaker came to me, needing a punch up for his speech to encourage volunteerism in Darfur. Needless to say, his speech was serious business. I had no idea how we could find the funny in such depressing subject matter. It was like writing Auschwitz. It was like writing Auschwitz and the musical without the help of Mel Brooks. What could I do? My only option was to dig deep for the details because that's where humor hides, in the specifics, in the obstacles, rather than in overall topic. Turns out he had a few problems. Turns out he had a few problems that needed solutions. He was in fierce competition with other non-profits for a limited number of dollars, which sounded like a constant on a game show. A game show. A game show. You must choose between these two suitcases. Suitcase 1 is dollars for Darfur, and suitcase 2 is Twitter for troubled thoughts. His second big issue was credibility. Donors are never sure whether they can trust a charity, which sounds like dating. I mean, they invited me to the gala dinner, but then they never returned my calls. I think they are wooing. but then but then they never turned my calls. I think they're wooing that woman with the bigger I am checkbook. Relating something very niche, dark, specific, that is unfunny to something very mainstream slash light, but still specific will help you. But still specific will help to guide you toward funny. Don't cheat yourself to don't cheat yourself out of the discovery process. Out of the discovery process. Explore the depths of the darkness, explore the problems, have the guts to delve into the details. Where you find laughs might surprise you. Oh wow. Where you find laughs might surprise you. We comics make lists of possible funny stuff all the time. Most civilians will stop when they can't make something make something funny. After 3 tries, working comics will try 20 more times. It's a numbers game. Just like sales, the more you try, the better chance you have of hitting on something funny. So try out the different exercises in this chapter. If you find you are trying too hard or feeling frustrated, move on to another exercise. Some will work for you and some won't. Remember, comedy is supposed to be fun, and doing the comedy pass on your speech should be a hoot. There is something so dreary as someone so serious about comedy. Lighten up and enjoy yourself. Remember, comedy is supposed to be fun, and doing the comedy pass on your speech should be a hoot. There is nothing so dreary as someone so serious about comedy. Lighten up and enjoy yourself. The best place to start, look right in the mirror. How to get laughs? In your opening, you are enough just as you are. Speakers think they have to change their personalities in order to seem funny. They try to loosen up, be more physical on stage, or even get a little nasty. No. Funny comes from truth. Sometimes the painful truth. Wow. Don't change who you are. Acknowledge the truth who you are. Make fun of the obvious. See yourself the way an audience sees you. Woohoo! Yes. Let's face it, when a speaker steps on stage, they are facing an inherent hostility toward know it alls. The best way to curb that judgment and diffuse hostility is to do some light-hearted self-mocking, having the guts to get a laugh at your own expense can appease even the harshest critic. Poking fun at yourself not only creates laughter, it creates likability. Likability. We all love people who don't take themselves so seriously. And besides, oh, 20, 40, 56, 56. And besides, the first part of your speech is about problems, so why not start with your own? That's right, that's not an expanding waistline, that's a punchline. When I boasted that my book, The Comedy Bible, could make anyone funny, National Public Radio put me to the test to do a comedy makeover on the most unfunny, humor impaired person they could find. I agreed, and Captain John Hinzel was picked. He is a Navy officer, a Port Hueneme at Port Hueneme, California, who lectures on the history of civil engineering. The captain had a special talent to making a boring topic even more boring. He was supposed to educate the cadets, by the problem was he was putting them to sleep. His wife also complained about his ability to clear a room when he told a story. He spoke in a deep robotic monotone that made Mr. Spock sound exciting. Captain John Hinzel was a buzzkill and he knew it. Judy, I know I'm so serious. Can you help me be funnier? How do I get more confident, more animated, more relaxed when I speak in front of others? John was approaching being funny and entertaining the way most people do. They assume that they have to change, be something other than their drab selves. That's far from the truth. Actually, when speakers try to be funny is when they become inauthentic and off-putting. The captain was shocked to find out that his comedy makeover didn't include changing his personality. It included making fun of it. I told John, I don't want you to change. I don't want you to talk faster or use more modulation when you speak, or smile more, or wear party hats. That's not who you are. Trying to be funny makes you unfunny. Whoa. Okay, unfunny. Well, then how can I be funny? How can I be funny? What, what do people joke about behind your back? I asked. The captain had a list of the things that people joked about him. His seriousness, his monotone, his emotionless tone. The next time the captain did his presentation in front of his cadets, he said, I know you think I'm uptight. Well, I just want you to know. That last night I got wild. I drank milk. One day passed the expiration date. The, the place fell apart. If you want to get a laugh, when you first come on stage, the best way is to joke about something obvious about you that the audience sees. Make comedy fit. When making fun of yourself, it has to relate to your message. You can't just I can't just have a joke for the sake of having a joke and then back to your speech. The joke has to illustrate the point. One of the best best ways to use this is during the problem. So you might be talking about how difficult their lives are and say, I know how you feel. Look at me. Then go into one of these formulas. Look at me. Then go into one of these formulas. One of these formulas. Whoa. Exercise. Make fun of yourself. 1. Make a list of what people see when you walk on stage. Your weight, hairline, age, gender, clothes and attitude, anything that makes you different can be comedy gold. It's gold, man, it's gold. Case study. I know what you are thinking. Speaker and stand-up comic. Diane. Diane Kawasaki is a little person. She creates quite a buzz as she comes on stage, as she is all of 3 4 tall, and she is also of Asian heritage. After the audience gets a good look at her, she takes a pause and then says with attitude, I know what you are thinking, so let's clear this up right away. The politically correct term is Asian American. People laugh so hard they literally fall off their chairs. To make a list of any qualities you think that the audience might notice, such as Vinny voice, Vinny voice. Global interest. To make a list of any qualities you think the audience might notice, such as whiny voice, seriousness, awkwardness, aggressiveness, high energy, low energy. Note that none of these things should be funny, but they should all be real. should all be real. Keep your list focused on the things that the audience can actually see or notice. I'm short is better than I'm okay better than lactose lactose intolerant. Okay. 3. Using the lists you have created, play with these formulas. I know that you are thinking formula. I know what you are thinking. Act out of what the audience is thinking. Boy does she know that her hair is the color of Cheetos? Then give a retort. Yes, I do know. And actually, part-time I donate my head to guide planes into the gates at the airport. Stupid question with funny retort formula. People say stupid things about you when you are insert quality. When you insert quality, I say insert funny retort. Have you ever had someone say something stupid and then a week later you thought, oh, I know what I should have said in response. Using this formula you can recreate the stupid things that someone said about you and what you should have said when it happened. Make a list of stupid things people say to you and see if you can find a funny retort. After winning, humorist Jenny Robertson, Jenny Robertson gets reasm of laughter by joking about the odd things people say to her regarding her 9'6" height. People are always asking me silly questions. How is the weather? How is the weather up there? How tall are you? How tall are you? I was on a plane and a woman commented, wow, you are tall. Okay, wow, you are tall. I looked down at myself and said, oh my gosh. I wasn't when I got on the plane. I must be the peanuts. The audience roars. As Jenny says, my message is to show people how to laugh at the things that we can't change. That we can't change. Yeah, man, you're right. Everyone is doing great. Oh my. using funny retorts when quoting statistics. When quoting when quoting statistics. When quoting statistics. In chapter 10, I suggest using statistics or quotes to give credence to the problem. You can bounce off these statistics or quotes to get a laugh. The formula is to give the quote or statistic and then insert your funny comment or disagreement. I presented summarizer, author and comedic speaker Dale Irwin with a few quotes and statistics. Here is what he came up with. Here is what he came up with. Yeah. Statistic: 1/3 of Americans feel they are living with extreme stress, says USA Today. Dale's retort, and the other 2/3 are giving it to them. Quote, Charles Darwin said, "A man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life." Yeah. Dale's retort, but a man who has discovered the value of Xbox will waste the rest of his life. Okay, man. Now you try it. Make a list of stupid things people say to you or what people in the audience might be thinking about you, and see if you and your buddy can find a funny retort. Some of you might not have an obvious characteristics that you can joke about. No worries, just move on to the next comedy formula. Don't bother making up something people might say. If they are not saying stupid things, congrats, you have got smart friends. Got smart friends. Comedy formula: self-mocking, reluctant admission. Anyway, the beauty of the reluctant. The beauty of the reluctant admission is that there is no limit on how many times you can use it. Use it during any story or whenever you over-exaggerate a statistic or a result. There is something very funny about someone admitting that they lied or exaggerated something, and even more funny and endearing when the honesty comes from a respected professional. Professionals respect boundaries. Yes, professionals respect boundaries. Boundaries should be everywhere, in every relationship. in home, in travel, road, office, club, everywhere. Then it's so simple. Home, outside, and office. Boundary should be there. Should be introduced. Okay. In this exercise, you make a big, bold statement of truth and then reluctantly admit that you were caught telling a lie. Here is the formula. Lie, admission 1, quiet. Admission 2, quieter. In any way, loud. Continue with speech. Here is how to put it into action. Reluctant admission. You need to find a coach that inspires, motivates, and will push you to your physical limits. My swim coach has me swimming 500 meters each. Oh, wow. Okay, 500 meters each and every day. Actually, it's more like 100 meters daily. It's more like 100 meters daily. Well, okay, 6 laps around the hot tub anyways. Elliot Hoppe, professional speaker, body language. The truth lies here. Here is how to put it into action. Lie, bragging. I lost 120 pounds. Admission 1, quiet. Well, I didn't exactly lose all of it at once. Admission 2, quieter. Well, actually, I just lost and gained the same 10 pounds 12 times. Anyway, continue with message. But today I am going to show you how you can make a difference in your health and maybe not lose 120 pounds but 5. I was so excited to find this formula, but here is the secret. It only works if you say anyway. If you say anyway is important. So anyway. Okay, I was so excited to find this formula, but here is the secret. It only works if you say anyway really loudly and then quickly move on. Anyway, getting laughs. You can be finicky. Sometimes changing one word can make the difference between a laugh and no laugh. So using the list of defects. Sometimes changing one word can make the difference between a laugh and no laugh. So using the list of defects you made above, give this one a try by turning a defect into an initial brag and then have to admit that you are lying. Use the formula above. This formula always works. Well, maybe not always in every situation. Okay, it only works between the hours of 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Anyway, get it? Anyway, get it? Comedy formula: self-mocking, the mashup. Warning: don't lie about your mashup. Only joke about your religious, cultural, or ethnic stereotype if you actually are that religion, culture, or ethnicity. Corporations are particularly sensitive to politically incorrect jokes. But if you are joking about yourself, human resources can't take issue with it. Human resources can't take issue with it. Okay. It's hard to listen to speakers who qualify as experts by droning on and on with lists of information that don't include a laugh. I'm from blah blah blah. I went to school in blah blah and blah blah blah, and I got a degree in blah blah blah. Boring. This is a lost opportunity for a laugh. Boring. This is the laugh. This is a lost opportunity for a laugh. Here is a way to introduce your credentials that I call the mashup. Let's say, for instance, you want to let the audience that you are a nurse and a stand-up comic. All you have to do is to add the words. So that means I, and then add the mashup of the stereotype. For example, speaker and comic Judy Oliverio says, I'm a nurse and a stand-up comic. So that means that I never get a break from essays. Here is how to use the mashup formula. Where to use the mashup? Consider using the mashup during the step 2, the credentials portion of your speech. The credentials portion of your speech. It's a great way to get a laugh while also bragging without bragging. Make people laugh and they'll actually remember your credentials instead of being turned off by your bravado. Exercise mash it up. Exercise. Mash it up. You may need some help to use this comedy formula, so let's do some brainstorming. Make a list of your ethnicity, parents, nationalities, your hobbies, and your current and past professions. List of. Pick two of the items you wrote above and put them in the formula below. You may not know this, but I'm half this and half this. Okay, or you can say part of this or part that, part this or part that, or I'm an engineer during the day and an actor at night. Yeah, so that means I am this. Okay, now that you have got them laughing through your first minutes on stage, let's bump up the laughs on the problem section of your speech. How to get laughs as you introduce the problem. Those of you who have read the comedy Bible know it's not the subject matter that's funny. It's what you do with it that makes people laugh. The problem section of your speech is a natural for mining laughs. Getting laughs when detailing the audience's problems serves two purposes. One, laughter makes the audience happy and entertains them. Turning their problems into punchlines is transformational. The first point is obvious. And anyone who books speakers knows that speakers who entertain as well as educate get more bookings. The first point is obvious, and anyone who books speakers knows that speakers who entertain as well as educate get more bookings and higher fees. More bookings and higher fees. But the second point is less obvious. When someone can laugh at a problem, it tends to make the problem seem smaller in size and more manageable. When someone can laugh at a problem, they feel they have more power over it, and it doesn't dominate their lives. In truth, getting the audience to laugh at their problems can be even more powerful than your upcoming action steps. But it has to be done in the right way. It can't appear that you are mocking the yes. It can't appear that you are mocking the audience or not taking their problems seriously. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, poke tune, poke fun. As your mom used to say, you have to walk a fine line between getting the laugh and still being respectful and treating the problem seriously. Wow. Sometimes just revealing you sometimes just revealing about the problem is enough to get a laugh. From my research interview with a pet food company, I learned that a big employee complaint was that they were only allowed one picture on their desk. It simply acted out that problem. It's hard just having one picture on your desk because you have to decide who that's going to be. You are going cat or husband, cat. Okay, huge laugh and applause. What's up? What's up with Coke? I'm very careful who I poke fun at. I don't even poke fun at my clients' competition. If 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 I'm working for Pepsi, I don't poke fun at Coke because I might be working there next week. Yes. Connie Podesta, speaker and author. Huge laugh and applause. There are two big rules about joking about your clients' problems. The first is always remember you are the outsider. I was playing a small town that was not exactly a tourist destination. In fact, when I looked at the newspaper to see what was going on in town, I saw a picture of myself that gave me an idea. Since I had time the day before, I walked around town with my camera taking pictures of possible tourist attractions. Ooh. I took a picture of a bait shop, calling it the freshest sushi in the world. Ho ho ho. Woohoo! Woohoo! The freshest sushi in the world. I took a picture of their tattoo parlor and called it an art museum. The slideshow got big laughs, and I thought it was very successful. Then I checked my email. Thanks for flying in from LA to make fun of our home. It's a better place now that you are not here. Ouch. Now there will always be a few people in the audience who just don't have a sense of humor, but my job is not to turn people off. Reevaluating the next time I did this, I set it up a bit differently by telling them that I was looking for funny things, but I ended up finding some of the most wonderful people in the world, and then you can't find that where I live. Wow. No hate mail that time, a learning experience. So When you are an outsider, you want to make sure that you are respectful of where your clients live, how they talk, and your differences. You need to be the butt of your jokes and not them. So now when an audience laughs, I say thanks for laughing. Thanks for laughing. Nobody laughs in Los Angeles, LA. They can't. Too much Botox, huge laugh. And now I'm one of them. Now I'm one of them. The second rule is never diss the person signing your check. That one needs no explanation. That one needs no explanation. Okay, now with those two rules are out of the way, let's talk about things you can do to be funny in the problem section of your speech. There are different techniques you can use to present the audience's problem. You can use some of them, all of them, or just one of them. That's up to you. Great. That's up to you. They all work. Great. Comedy formula. List of 3. Just like 3 is the magic number of action steps in a speaker's speech. Three is a magic number in comedy. 3 has a comedy rhythm that just works. Using the list of 3 formula, a comic sets up a pattern on the first 2 serious ideas, and then turns on the third comics and on the third. Comics use this formula constantly, and you should feel free to incorporate it into many sections of your speech. For example, I like Florida. I like Florida. Everything is in the 80s. Everything is in the 80s. The temperature, the ages, and the IQs. George Carlin. The first two set up a pattern of expectancy, and the third one is the surprise. Surprise. Comedy formula list of 3. 21 August 2018. Comedy formula list of 3. Just like 3 is the magic number of action step in a speaker's speech. 3 is a magic number in comedy. 3 has a comedy rhythm that just works. Using the list of 3 formula, a comic sets up a pattern on the first two serious ideas and then turns on the third. Wow. Comics use this formula constantly, and you should feel free to incorporate it into many sections of your speech. For example, I like Florida. Everything is in the 80s. The temperature, the ages, and the IQs. George Charlie Chaplin? No. The first two set up a pattern of expectancy, and the third one is the surprise. Speakers can use this formula to get a laugh by putting the problem as the third one, so it comes as a surprise to the audience. When I was hired to speak to a cosmetics company, I was told management would be announcing that three would be no bounces that year. Management actually asked me to do something funny with that. Boy, that was a tough assignment, but using this formula helped me to come up with a laugh. I also knew prior to my keynote the audience would be doing a workshop on conceptual selling. So my list of 3 was. I understand that you learned today about conceptual selling. That means when you aren't selling lipstick, but rather the concept of beauty. 2. It's not about the mascara, but the concept of glamour. 3. And I guess it's not about the money, but the concept of a bonus. People literally fell off their chairs. Now that's a good joke. The list of 3 is a powerful comedy formula that depends on an authentic setup, leading the audience down a path and then surprising the audience on the third one, or what we comics call the turn. Those of you techies who use PowerPoint can benefit from this by having a surprise when you do bullet points. Okay. PowerPoint can be benefit from this by having a surprise when you do bullet points. That third bullet point should be a doozy. Remember, keeping the audience laughing will keep you employed. Global improvement, global success, global success. Exercise your list of 3. Global news show, right? Global news show 5. Global news show 5. Or empowerment show 5. Exercise. Exercise your list of 3. Get a feel of this formula by practicing creating lists of 3 by filling in the terms of this unfinished list. There are 3 subtle clues you are not getting your annual raise. Subtle and obvious. 1. Sales are down. 2. They cut back on office supplies. And 3. Insert your turn, i.e. and the CEO has a second job as a old answer. There are 3 subtle clues that your relationship might be on the rocks. 1. You have stopped communicating. 2. You don't hug at night. 3. Insert some clue that huge and obvious, i.e. she's issued a restraining order. Go through your list. Go through your list of problems that you created in chapter 10 and see if you can create a list of 3. Write out a setup that relates to the problem, such as there are 3 subtle clues that you are stressed or not healthy, going to get fired. Then make the first 2 subtle and the last one obvious and big. Try it. You will love it when you get laughs. Comedy formula: funny frustrations. This is a great way to poke fun to some of the industry terms that are a part of the vocabulary that the audience uses. The formula goes like this. You may not know this, but this industry term, this thing, is actually this term. Language derived from Latin, Navajo, it is etc. For an example, okay, meaning is this inside this problem. For instance, if you are talking to entrepreneurs, and one of their problems is not being able to set boundaries between their work and their personal life. You might want to use this formula to say, you may not know this, but entrepreneur is actually French term meaning I work in my underwear. I work in my underwear. Case study: Darren Lacroix, 2001 Toastmasters World Championship of Public Speaking. When Darren arrives at a gig, he observes what he can plug into this funny frustration formula by picking something that everyone has experienced. He is guaranteed a laugh. As he says, I observed that there was an unusually long walk at the Vegas Rio Hotel to get to the meeting rooms. Then I overheard people complaining about how far meeting rooms were from hotel rooms. Early in my speech, I said, "Welcome to the Rio Hotel. You might not know this, but Rio is a Native American term meaning long flipping hallway. Killer opening," as they all could relate, and it showed that Darren's speech was not canned. As Darren says, if you are giving a speech on presentation skills rather than simply saying that most PowerPoint uses are boring, use this formula to give the same information and get a laugh as well. You may not know this, but PowerPoint is a Sanskrit term meaning boring as presentation. In order to do this exercise, pick one of the industry words that is a part of the problem of the audience. This could be the name of a problematic computer system, right? Computer system. The so-called help desk complicated computer producers ROI report. When to use the FFF. A great place to use the funny frustration formula is when talking about the problem. It's a surefire way to illustrate the audience's frustration and get a laugh. So, make a list of the industry terms familiar to your audience. Then make a list of the frustrations associated with the problems of the audience. The more negative the frustration, the funnier the joke will be. Now connect the two. Try them out with your speaking buddy and see if you get a laugh. Comedy formula acronyms. Take the acronyms your audience uses at work and rework them into different meanings. You can use their acronyms to illustrate their problem in a funny way. Comic Steve Bluestein was doing a speech for the Ford Motor Company and joked about their competition. I know you at Ford are concerned about quality. You don't want to end up like Fiat. Great. I'm Michael. Which I believe means fix it, fix it again, fix it again. Tony. Fiat. So again we start the way most joke writers start, by making a list. In this case, make a list of short signature words that are associated with the group and you are speaking to. For instance, it could be the name of the payroll system, the name of their cafeteria, or one of their many acronyms. Then do a list of the frustrations associated with that item. Next, take one of their frustrations and see if you can express it by having it fit into an acronym of one of their terms. If you were speaking to the FBI and they had a party the night before, you could say, looking at your eyes, I can see that FBI really stands for fairly bleary intoxication. Comedy formula. Top 10 list. If you find yourself with long lists that won't fit into a list of 3 formula, why not pull a David Letterman and create your own top 10 list of their problems? The trick here is to create a list that sets up the core promise of your speech. I do a top 10 list of ways you know you are stressed. It includes things like this. It includes things like number 10. When you come home from work before midnight, the dog thinks you are a burglar. Number 9. When you talk without holding your iPhone, your thumbs still move. So create a setup based on your core promise, such as the top 10 ways you know you need to make more money. Your marriage is on the rocks. Your company needs more customers, and so on. Start with number 10 and count backward. Try it. It's fun and easier to jam or brainstorm with your buddy. Comedy formula. Present the problem as a song or a rap. If you have a talent for music, singing or dancing, it's always entertaining to present the problem with music. I used to write a rap about the specific stresses facing the audience, such as meeting to see why my meeting is late, meeting to see why I can't hit my date, want to know why I'm not completing cause I'm at a stupid meeting. Wow. Even if you can't sing, just for the fun of it, write out a song about their problem. Use Rhymezone. Use Rhymezone.com. Use Rhyme to help. Put some of the words from your search about the problem into this site and play with them. Even if you have never done anything like this, you might be surprised you can write a song. Oh. You can also use well-known melody to help you along. Make up words and sing them to the tune of a pop song or nursery rhyme. Comedy formula. Greatest hits. If you can't sing, or if it's just not your style, Darren Lee Croix has found that the greatest hits formula is another way to turn an audience's problems into punchlines. Here is how Darren teaches this technique in his comedy boot camp. In his comedy boot camp for speakers, I'll let Darren explain how this formula works. Step 1. Identify industry terms. I have my students identify heavily used industry terms. These are words or phrases that are used each and every day by the audience. An example might be DPI, dots per inch, or W inkjet, short form of Windows inkjet, okay, or bi-monthly or fiscal. The lists go on and on. Step 2. List song titles. My students then make a list of popular song titles, keeping in mind the age group of their audience. Okay. Humor works best if the songs are easy recognized. Okay, songs are easily recognized. Step 3. Mashup. I have my students mash up their list of industry terms with the list of their song titles, and they end up with titles like I'm too SC and For My DPI, or Let's Get Fiscal, or Don't Worry Bi-monthly. Step 4. Set up the laugh. Once my students have their list of fake songs, I have them frame the list with a setup. Something like, have you heard you can download the CEOs or some recognizable person in the group Greatest Hits album on iTunes? It's followed by the catchy title of album, and then they begin listing the songs. Exercise Greatest Hits. Using Darren Lee Croix's steps, make a list of the problem and song titles, and see if you can add this exercise as a way of presenting the problem in a fun and creative way. Bad for life, good for comedy. Good for life. Use a song, the top 10 list, the acronym, or a greatest hits formula throughout discussing the problem. We have a saying in comedy: bad for life, good for comedy. It's the problems that we all have that make the best comedy material. Focus on creation. And if you can get an audience to laugh at what is upsetting them, you are transforming them in that moment. The holy grail of comedy, the act out. The act out. Whether you are presenting a story about the problem or you have launching or you are launching.
A long time I've never heard a coach say they could do something like that, especially somebody like
The problem or you are launching into your action steps or you are winning them over with your heart story. Using the act out technique is a must. It's a technique that should be used constantly throughout your entire speech. So make mastering these next few exercises a priority. A priority. The basic act out. The basic act out.
what's Keisha gonna do? Run right up to the finish line, stop just before crossing. You go, hello, Brittany, it's all yours.
Most dull speakers narrate their speech, meaning that they narrate the ideas, stories, and advice. By talking directly to the audience, a more dynamic way to get your point across and tell stories is by doing what I refer to as the basic act out. As the basic act out. When a speaker is doing an act out, he or she is no longer speaking to the audience, but rather is in a scene and speaking to another character in that scene. An act out is where a comic or a speaker performs the people in a scene and scores the big laughs instead of talking about someone or something. You perform it. For instance, here is the same idea presented as narration and as an act out.
All over 3 seconds? Yeah. Right now, we are going in here with 100, but this one hasn't run out. Then I can go on and on.
Wrong way. Narration. It's hard getting work done when you have to go out and feed the parking meter right in the middle of a meeting. Right way. Act out. It's hard getting work done when right in the middle of a meeting some guy jumps up and yells, "Oh my God, I've got to feed the meter. I'll be right back." And that's the CEO. Chief Executive Officer. As you can tell from the italicized sentence, the act out comes when you become a character to say, "Oh my God, I've got to feed the meter." Act out, even if it doesn't get a laugh, makes a speech come alive with immediacy. The more a speaker embraces the full emotion and tones of the character, the better the laughs, especially if you can convey the real frustration of the problem. Acting it out. The act out is used throughout your speech, especially when telling stories. Rather than telling an audience what someone is saying, become them and act them out, taking on their mannerisms and vocal quality. Whomever you mention in your speech, act them out.
Sorry.
40. Come on. Act them out. But Judy, I'm not very good with doing voices or characters. That's okay, neither am I. Act outs don't have to be Oscar winning performances. And don't worry about accuracy. If you are pretending to channel your mother or father, the comedy patrol isn't going to yank you off stage and say his mother sounds nothing like that. You don't even have to be able to do different voices. There is nothing more offensive than a male speaker raising his voice to a. There is nothing more offensive than a male speaker raising his voice to a squeaky high voice when doing an act out of his wife. तो बिल्ला बैठे हैं बिल्ला he is not busy for me. Oh my god, Mr. Smith. Partner, life partner. Miss Armin. Okay, rather be in your body, feel it, be it, and believe in it, and then say it. Wow. You don't need to drop to the ground pretending to be a dog barking. No need to be that dramatic. With that said, I believe that whomever you mention in a speech should be acted out. I don't mean breaking into a long scene, but I do think that whatever character you mention in your story deserves a short appearance. As you can imagine, some techies and novices have a hard time with the act out. I get it. It's completely outside your comfort zone, but guess what? Comedy is uncomfortable. It's taking a risk. Just because something doesn't feel comfortable doesn't mean you shouldn't try it. So try it.
Look, chances are you're all teenagers.
100%.
Make it for life.
Warning: never use a joke you found on the internet or on heard a comic perform during their set. Okay, comic perform during their set. That's called stealing, and it's not funny. And if you are stealing, then recognize them. Okay, give credit to them. Shout out and give credit to them. Exercise the basic act out. Every person you mention in your speech should be acted out. Go through your speech and underline every person you mention and make sure that you are acting them out. If you are uptight about acting someone out, then focus on their physical being rather than their voice. If you are telling a story about your mother Then see how she stands, leans over, walks, picks up something, answers the phone, stand like her. Does she hunch when she walks? How does she always have a finger out, reprimanding, shaking it? Does she chew gum, bite her pencil, pull at her hair, stand stiffly, take her stance, become her, feel her, become her, take her stance, become her, feel her. The voice will take care of itself when you take care another person's physical attributes. Comedy formula: act out in inanimate objects and animals. The characters in act outs don't have to be people. As a matter of fact, it's pretty much a guaranteed laugh. It can okay. The characters.
You better hope I have a good round.
Okay, act out inanimate objects and animals. The characters in action outs don't have to be people. As a matter of fact, it's pretty much a guaranteed laugh. If you act out animals or inanimate objects, Robin Williams gives voice to a chair. I wonder what chair's talking about. I wonder what chairs think all about all day. Oops, here comes another a-hole. Richard Pryor's heart talked to him in this joke. Your heart gets mad. Think about dying now, aren't you? Richard Pryor's heart talked to him in this joke. Your heart gets mad. Think about dying now, aren't you? You didn't think about it when you was eating the pork. I avoid eating pork. I avoid pork. It's a very dirty animal. It's a very dirty animal. You're right. Okay. One tip for doing these act outs is to do is as a character. There is nothing funnier than a cat with a New York accent. Want me to cuddle we chew fagada, oh, fagada, 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 bowed it. Get a life. Go through all your stories and see if you can add an act out of anything that isn't human. A tree, your keys, your car, your refrigerator. Oh, hello again, fatty. Weren't you just here 5 minutes ago? Weren't you just here 5 minutes ago? Adding humor takes guts. Many of my students are very nervous to try the techniques in this chapter, but there is always a big smile on their faces when they get the laugh. Boy, does that feel good. Try adding one humor piece each time you speak. You might try adding one humor piece each time you speak. Oh, I'm not Vinay. Thank you. I'm not that funny. What I am is brave. Lucille Ball. Okay. You might find that after a year you are hilarious. Being funny is not all in the writing, it's mostly in the performance. Let me help you with that. In the next chapter. Wow. #G Part 3. Taking your message to the world. #G Chapter 16. Performing. Chapter 16. Performing the message of you from the page to the platform. Now, this part of the book is where I am supposed to lecture you about the do's and don'ts of performing a speech, how to gesture, how to use body language, voice volume, tone, tempo and pitch. And so on. Here is the problem. I don't believe there is one right way to perform. If there was one right way to present a speech, then all speakers would look and sound the same, like politicians who have been groomed for the national press. They are not running for office. You are not trying to win an election. You are on stage to relay the message of you. how to use gestures, how to use language, body language, voice volume, tone, tempo, and pitch, and so on. Here is the problem. I don't believe there is one right way to perform. Okay, if there was all speakers would look, sound the same. Your speech is the unique expression of your message of you, and if you truly believe in your message, then it doesn't matter if you student stuttered, micropronouns, words stand perfectly still. Okay. Traffic control. If you are speaking from your heart, then you are presenting your speech the right way. Even if you use language that is them grammatically incorrect. Okay. So grammatically incorrect speeches are not written to be great literary prose. They are written to be spoken aloud and in the authentic style of the speaker. Professional speaker Jenny Robertson is from South Carolina, and her speech is full of yells and melpia. May I help you?